So if it's your first time on the channel, thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have you here. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, definitely hit the subscribe button. Drop a like if you learned something in this video. And also I would like to show you guys, if time allows, how I would add a staircase inside of this 2-bedroom house. I do have both floors open up right here. So this is the first floor, where I have this little space right in here where I would like to add a straight flight going up and over the powder room and going up into the second floor and landing somewhere into the passage here. Now, if you're wondering how I did this, where I have both floors open and then I have a 3D view, I have a series of videos showing you how to start a project from scratch using the project navigator, and how to create constructs, how to create levels, how to create views. All of that is there, so check the description below for that if you're interested. All right, so let's go ahead and click on the stair tool, and right away we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we have the right styles and shape and everything is good over here. So far everything looks good. My width would be 3 feet. That's the minimum. I have a really tiny house here, so you know I want to stick with that 3 feet width minimum. And then the height of level 2 would be 10 feet. If I go back to my project and look, my elevation for level 2 is 10 feet, so that's perfect. My justify centered, I want to finish with a thread. I keep saying thread, it's tread, and my tread width would be 11 inches. All right, so I'm gonna start maybe like, I actually want to start 3 feet away from this wall, so let's draw a line up 36 and then across like that. So I need to start on that line there, so let's go ahead and start somewhere here, maybe like right here. Of course it's not centered properly, but we can fix that afterwards. And I'm going to put an ortho mode on and click up like that, and then I can move this stairs over into its rightful position, something like that. Then I can delete these lines. So I gave it a minimum of 3 feet space down here to land on if you're coming down. All right, so that's how that looks. I don't think it's bad, except for the style. That particular style I don't want, so I'm going to change it. From my style browser, I'm going to go to stairs, and I am going to bring in the concrete design, since this is the one that we are mostly familiar with in Jamaica. So I'm going to be importing that style and changing it over here, and then we can take a look at that and see what that looks like. So let me bring it in conceptual mode, and there we have it. It's not looking too bad. Of course, we're going to need to cut this wall down, but before I cut it, before you do any changes to the building or anything, you want to make sure that this step is pretty much set where you want it. All right, so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go over to my 3D view and reload my link. So I'm going to also turn off the roof, turn the roof off, and turn the slab off. Should I turn the slab off? Let me put this in X-ray mode. So, oh man, that's not looking good. Let me see. Wireframe is probably worst. Yeah, let me go back to conceptual, and I'm going to hide this slab here. Let me turn it off just like I did with that. Turn off the ceiling. So that stairs is coming up like that from downstairs, and it's coming up, but the problem I'm having with this here is that it lands pretty close to here. Yeah, it's landing up a little too close. I think there's something that I left off. I'm gonna add. I wanted this to end with the tread, so let me change that. I'm gonna hit save, go back over, and reload. So yeah, that's where it ends right there, and I would really like to have this end somewhere underneath this window so that once you reach up on top here, you kind of have enough space between the steps and the wall there. If you notice, that's pretty narrow, and so I wouldn't want that narrow of a space right there. So what I'm gonna do is, what I'll have to do, go back to my floor plan where I did the stairs, and I will have to make some changes here. So I'm going to isolate it, and I'm going to go to my left view. All right. Now, if you notice, it has a couple of things on there. I need to remove those. So I'll go to my edit style. I would like to remove the riser and the thread. I would also like to go to design rules, and I'm going to change my tread depth to 10 inches. Since we can get a little lower, and making these 10 inches long would shorten it up, so it might end up like somewhere here when we're done. And I'm going to turn this off because this calculation is not going to work with what we have here. And I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and change it right here as well to 10. And so it brings it up a little bit. So right now, if I should measure my tread depth, it would be 10 inches. However, I still have an extra inch underneath here because of the sloping riser. So I still kind of have a little bit of leg room there that, you know. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I think that's not bad. I'm going to end isolation, bring everything back, and I'm going to go to, in fact, let me save this before I go over to the 3D view. And then I'm going to refresh. And so now that's looking more like what I want it to be at. So it would end right underneath that stairs right there. So once I'm happy with what I have, what I will do is to go ahead and start modifying the other parts of the building that will need to be modified. So if I go back to the 3D view and I turn everything back on. All right, so I did have a section view created. So I'm going to right click on that and say enable live section. So just like that, I can cut directly through the building and see what we're looking at. And right there and then you can see that we have a couple of issues. This wall need to be lowered underneath. This ceiling in the powder room will need to be brought back to end here. And also we will need to cut a hole in this slab as well as the ceiling. So let's begin with the wall. So let's go back to the floor plan, and this wall here, we need to shorten it. So let's go to this, and we're going to say edit roof line, and we're going to say auto project, and we want it to be projected to the staircase, and we hit enter. And that's the first easy step to take just to get that wall beneath the stairs. All right, we're going to save this because we're done with this now. Let's go to the ceiling, which I have open up here. So it would be ceiling on level 1. So this would be the powder room ceiling, and I need this ceiling to be shortened up a little bit. So what I'll do, I'll bring in the first floor XREF overlay, and I can now see where the step is located. What I'm going to do actually is to turn off some layers here so I can only see the stairs. I think this is it. So I'm going to shut these off, except the stairs. All right, and so now I can modify these things. So let me go to maybe like this view here, and I can maybe pull this back. What I'm going to do is to trim it. So I can use the trim by plane here, and I'll draw a line from here to here. Let me switch to right view mode, and then I'll do that again. Trim by plane. And then you click on the side that you want to remove, which would be that side. And so this should be good right there. Perfect. Let's go back to the top view. All right, so the next thing we need to do is to cut an opening over the stairs through the ceiling. So what we could do here is to pretty much draw another one of these. Let me create a brand new one, and I'm going to say specify on screen. Yes, I want it to be from here to here. My height will be 2 inches. My rotation will be 0. All right, and I'm going to actually shrink this over like that. So this is the piece that I have. Perfect. So technically what I want to do is to subtract this from that. Yes. All right, and so we're left with that right there. All right, so that's what I really want, because there's a wall coming down and it stops there. I want the ceiling to wrap around that wall and then come down on the edge of the stairs and come at the end of the stairs. However, upstairs, I think on the second floor there is a closet here, and the ceiling should, let me see, go all the way to about 5 foot 6 inches. So I need to make sure that my ceiling is, if I draw a line here and I do an offset of 5 feet 6 inches, my ceiling really needs to stop there. So I need to bring this up to that point. Good. All right, so that's what my ceiling would look like. I don't know if that's enough headroom. Let me see. But let's go to the left view and let's take a look to see if where that ends we're having a 7 feet 6 feet 3. That's kind of narrow, so I'm gonna have to bring this back some more. So let's go back to the top view. I'm gonna have to bring this back maybe to this step right there. Let's check that distance again. So from here, 6 feet 10. All right, let's bring it back some more. Ceiling, go back to the top view. This is a little bit more challenging than I thought it would have been, but you want to basically have a 7 feet head room when you're going up the stairs, and so you have to pay, these are the little things you have to pay attention to when you're designing a stair. So you know, you have to keep checking the distances, making sure that you have at least that amount of headroom to work with. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a little bit over now, but whatever, I'm gonna leave it there. All right, so that's my ceiling. Top view, I'm going to detach that model, save it, delete that, save it once more. And if I go to my 3D view and refresh the ceiling, now you can see that it was edited and modified to what we need. Likewise with this wall down here. All right, so the last thing we need to do is to cut a hole in that slab. So let's do that. I'm going to go to slab on the second floor. All right, so this is just a big rectangle. So what I'm going to do is to go to my first floor basically and go to the top view, conceptual, and I'm going to draw a box around this stairs right here and pretty much copy this box. Copy, and I'm going to paste it in this drawing here. So I'm going to say paste. I'm using the paste orig command so that it pastes it in the exact spot that I need it. And then I'm going to just click on the slab and say hole, add, and click on the box and hit enter. Do you want to erase that box? I'm going to say yes. And so it cuts a hole in there. I'm going to save it and go to my 3D view and refresh. So that hole is being created. However, if you notice, it cuts beyond my closet, and that's an issue. So I would like to pull this back some more. Maybe I could measure it right here. So let's go to the left view and measure how far back I need to pull this out. 2 feet 1 inches. So let's go to my slab and pull this in 2 feet 1 inches. All right, there we go. Hit save, go to your 3D view and refresh, and now that's looking beautiful. All right, now the only problem I'm seeing here is that my ceiling needs to be sealed off properly. So I need to maybe put an angled piece of ceiling here, and also if I should reverse this section here and look in the opposite direction, you can see that also this part of the ceiling needs to be sealed off from the public view, if you get what I'm saying. So I need to go back to the ceiling, and I'm basically going to create a box again that has let me say, specify my width to be 2 inches by 12 inches. Height, I'm going to make the height for now maybe 10 inches. Look something like that. I'm going to place it maybe right there for now. 0 rotation, but I'm gonna move it. I want it to be on the edge of here, and I'm gonna stretch it out. I'm basically creating like a wall here, so we can take a look at that and see what that looks like. Let's put it in a conceptual. All right, so it looks something like that, and I'm gonna pretty much do the same thing. I'm going to rotate it in this direction and move it down to here and pretty much shorten it up. All right, so if I rotate that, it would look something like that. Let's take a look and see what that looks like on the 3D view. Refresh. All right, so this is what we're seeing so far. It looks like it's a little bit lower than the wall, so I need to bring it up some more. Let's see how far up I need to bring it. It should actually work if I raise this up out of the bottom piece. So let me raise this up another 2 inches, so that would be 8 like that. And I would go to my 3D view and refresh, and so it goes up like that. Perfect. All right, it should lie flush with the wall. Nice. And then if I flip this arrow again, reverse, and look on the opposite side, this is where the ceiling would end for this. I did say that I would add an angled piece here, which would take a little bit more time, but we can try. We can try. All right, let's bring it in. Let's bring the second floor in and see what that. In fact, we should bring the slab in and see what that looks like. XREF overlay, right view. If I try to rotate this piece here, let's use a reference from here to here. Good. And I'm going to lengthen this piece out like that. And then of course I am going to also lengthen this piece out like so. And then I am going to trim by plane. So delete that side, and this piece as well. I probably should have moved this, enter, move this out to here and rotate this back again. So this is the challenges you have to deal with when you're adding a stair in, especially in a whatever unique situation that you have to deal with. So I'm going to trim this again from here to here and get rid of that side, so it looks something like that. So when I go to my 3D view and refresh, I'm going to have something looking like that. And if I were to bring this in out a little bit, take a closer look, let's see if we can actually go inside and see what that looks like. All right, if it actually makes sense to do it like that. So yeah, it's not bad. It's really not bad. So we kind of hide the ceiling off there and have the stairs coming up like that. All right, so we could take a look from downstairs and see what that looks like if we're looking up. All right, so that's what that looks like. And yeah, you would just keep going up. Now, one of the things I would do here is to just, I can get rid of this now, detach. I would just union or join all of these together. So go ahead and say union and join them together. Enter. Erase, yes. So that becomes one solid object. So when you go back over to your 3D view and refresh, you won't be seeing those lines, you know, that we were seeing earlier, like the line here. All right, it becomes one solid object. Let's take a look at it from this view. Perfect. All right, so the last thing I would do here is to add a railing, and you already know how to do this. I'm not going to make this difficult or any more difficult than it already is. So I'm going to go to railings and I'm going to basically pick a style that I would like. And for this one, I'm going to choose the one with the glass inside of it. You don't know the thing already. If I pop the thing, so I think I've already added it in, so it's grayed out here because it's already in my project. So all I have to do is to go to my railing tool and make sure that I'm on the correct style, and then I'm going to add it to this edge of my stairs. All right, so refresh, and now I have my railing going up, and that's it, guys. That's pretty much all the challenges you would have to face when dealing with a stairs like this. I didn't mean for it to take this long. Oh boy, this is ridiculous. But I hope that you enjoyed the video though. Hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. All right. Okay, so that wraps it up for this video today. I hope that you learned something new, and you know what to do already. If you did, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and don't forget the post notification, guys. That part will make sure you are notified whenever I drop another video. And I feel like I have some more videos to drop on staircase. I think I'm gonna do a really crazy customized staircase. If you want to see that, drop it in the comments below and let me know. Shout out to the patrons on my Patreon page. Check it out, links in the description below. All right, so see you guys in the next video. Big up yourself.